know who I am, I suppose, from this morning. Now I'm a concept. And why I'm going to talk about this? Because not everything is seaside, sadly. So, and the context is that last years, everything has moved a lot into the client side, and seaside was meant originally as a full server application. So, the real problem is that I do not like how seaside handles the JavaScript part. Why? Because it uses an SDL that is DSL, sorry, that is really hard to understand, and JavaScript is already hard, and if you use that DSL, it's a lot of times a pain in the ass, and also it ends provoking certain problems on design because you need to jump from one page to another. So it's not really what I like the most. So I have two different approaches for dealing with that. The first one is Riff, which is a seaside library, basically. It's an extension of seaside for working with adjacent JavaScript in a component way. Instead using the DSL, we create abstractions, object abstraction that allows you to work keeping exactly that seaside feeling that we all like, but also in the JavaScript part. It's been around since a lot of years because I started it for a customer project before I was working in Armor. But it was not publicized enough, I suppose. It's my fault. I think it's really cool, but I made it, so of course I'm biased in that way. And since I was the only one using it during years, it was evolved according to my needs. At the beginning it was jQuery exclusive, and now it's jQuery plus Bootstrap exclusive. It gives you a really nice abstraction with that. And if you need that, then it will work fine. The design is, as I say, all iterations happens inside a block. Instead of saying, that's why I put a trap in Johan, asking him to show the code, because if you could see it, it's always a jQuery, HTML, jQuery, on-click, blah, 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 and it's complete hard to understand. For me, the idea that I was following is that everything should be have as a callback in seaside. That's the cool part that seaside has, and I wanted to keep it also in JavaScript. The problem is that, of course, JavaScript gives you different kinds of computations. Okay? Client side, an AJAX request, or sometimes you actually want to trigger a new page completely. So you need to be able to do that. And I'm going to show you a little example. You know what is fun? We were in agreement for doing this example. We didn't talk about this talk until yesterday, and we didn't talk about it.
Everybody does this. So
It's
not a coincidence.
So if I start, it does everything, and it does it exactly, and of course you can remove it, and I'm going to show you the code for exactly what he shows it, which is removing this. Also the dark theme was not a coincidence. So we create panels, which are type of containers, and we have this is how we create the panel that shows exactly the length that we have. Now we have a panel, and as you can see, it's doing everything in the seaside way of component working. And the remove is this. It's a button and has a class that makes a remove. as all of you would expect. And the remove does has a confirm, and of course, since this is JavaScript, I cannot, and JavaScript does not have continuations, I cannot just jump to another line, so I need the onAccept, but it looks like a real program, not a string of JavaScript there. So that's the idea of Rift. And of course, it has limitations and preconditions that you need to be aware. That's everything. What?
You're not going to mention.
No, but I will not. I will let you to discover by yourself. So we have the concept of components, and I created several of them. Many Bootstrap components are already there. There are some others, jQuery components there, and of course we have Magritte Riff, because I love Magritte, I already said, so you can do everything that you do in Magritte, you can do it with Riff too, in an Ajax way, so it works nice, and well, that's fine. Need more people using it, and needs more people caring about it, because so far it's just me. And you can start with that.
And soon there will be a doc.
Yes. And the other, it's even more in the clean side. This was made by Nicolas Peton and me, because we needed to create an application that was almost fully client-side, but we still need to communicate with the server side to do the complex computation and having all the data. And that's, in fact, even all people that advocate for client-side applications always remember that client-side applications needs to communicate with the server in a way. We are doing, again, as 15 years ago, client-server applications. No, is that what we do? And the common approach right now is using REST. Sorry, using REST. But the problem with REST is that you need to publish everything not in an object way, as a list of services that flattens your development and creates a lot of problem of design. So Amber type, what actually does is a remote object implementation that allows you to use Pharo objects in Amber. So you can trigger a lot of calls, you can take values, you can change it, and in a transparent way you will work in both sides of the world. And it gives that CSI feeling too, using something like a futures implementation, but weird. And what else? And has different ways to exposing this the objects from the server to the client side. It's not that any object is exposed always. You need to declare it, mostly because of security stuff. You cannot or do not want to put everything in the web.
Question?
Yes. Yeah. I'm finishing. The status is exactly the same of Riff. It's working fine, but Nicolas Peton is not working in Smalltalk anymore. More to the ugly world of Emacs and JavaScript. But he will be back, I know, but for now he's not doing it. And, well, and it needs more people using it for having real things. So this is how you install it. Slides will be available. And this is something that I want to stress. We have always a tendency of finding one solution that has to rule everything. And that's not always what happens. You need to choose everything. taking care of what you need, not what is the hype or what you know. It's what is the best option for your solution. That's all I have to say.
How do we decide? How do we decide?
Type?
You have leaf and we have type. How do we decide between those? How would I decide between using leaf or choose?
Choose. It depends of which amount of client side do you need. If you need an application that is mostly client side, I would choose type and Amber. Not for type. I didn't prepare. I have one that I didn't prepare it as an example. Suppose that here. Here. Yeah. There you have something. But I cannot start Marina because it needs a voyage.
This afternoon.
In this afternoon I can show you.
Yeah.
It is on there, but I don't remember.